The last time the Army and Navy met at Lord's was 36 years ago. This was an opportunity to witness forces sporting history wherever one's allegiance lay. For the players walking out of the famous pavilion into the middle of cricket's spiritual home, it was an occasion to savour. Quite how the teams would respond to playing in such an illustrious arena, only time would tell. The Army won the toss and opted to bat first, a bold decision bearing in mind the dank conditions, though they adapted to their task pretty quickly. Despite the unseasonable gloom, the Army took the game to their rivals, Stu Jackson lighting up the murk and the crowd with a powerfully struck six. Meanwhile, Army skipper James Fulton began to find his range. A flurry of well-timed boundaries from him pushed the score along nicely. The opening pair were proving hard to dislodge. Jackson survived a shout from first slip, but the ball ricocheted off the keeper and not, as first thought, his bat. Fulton was dictating the game. A fine shot at backward point brought his 50, as he laid down the foundations for a healthy innings total. With lunch looming and the opening stand now close to 150, Freeman thought he'd bagged the prize scalp of Fulton, only for the chance to go to ground. Lunch, and with the Navy bowlers enjoying some respite, but with Fulton dangling on 93 not out, the chatter from the crowd focused on a possible century for the Army opener. Their question was duly answered soon after the interval. With a typically powerful drive, Fulton reached his 100 in style, acknowledging the support from the stands. The senior service did eventually get their man, the partnership ending as Fulton gifted one to Batley at slip off the bowling of Toogood for 115. With his skipper gone, Jackson continued to pile on the runs, reaching a deserved 50, much to his delight. Rather belatedly, the Navy struck back. First, Murray Haynes was stumped thanks to the alert wicket-keeping of Burt. And then Danny Webb said goodbye to his middle stump, clean bowled by Daisy Adams, leaving the Army to declare on 265 for 4. In reply, the Navy were slow to get runs on the board, tight Army bowling giving them scant opportunity to score. The weather by now had brightened up, but the dark blues were still struggling to establish themselves on the game. Runs were restricted to just singles, not the boundaries needed to eclipse the Army total. The batsmen were spending less time at the crease than it takes Lewis Hamilton to lap Silverstone. John Batley out for a duck, following the earlier dismissal of Toogood, with the Navy creaking at 20 for 2, much to the Army's delight. Cricket is one of those funny games with interruptions in play ranging from bad light to a drinks break. This was a welcome adjournment for the players as Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal was introduced to the teams during the tea interval. And she had time to chat to wounded servicemen and their families attending the game as guests for the Help the Heroes campaign. With old Father Time looking on, the Navy was searching for heroes of their own. They found them in Tim Burt and John Parker as they rebuilt the innings. Coming together with their side outplayed at 67 for 6, the duo put on a further 67 runs for the next wicket. Parker was the next man to go, undone by the turn of Haynes. In the end, it was left to Burt to continue his defiant rearguard action. He steered his way to a determined half-century and made sure that his side remained in the contest as they finished on 171 for 8. The Centenary match, perhaps fittingly, ending in a draw on a day to remember for all involved.
I think when you walk down the long room steps in the morning and the crowd's noise is there and they're clapping you, you did get your hairs standing up on their ends this morning as you came down this morning. I think as the day grew, you got used to the atmosphere, but a fantastic place to play. And certainly I won't forget the day.
I've never scored any runs when my family have been watching, so it's nice to do it for once. But no, lovely to have their support here and really important for me.